I overheard a woman telling her son that I might have STD because I don't clean myself. Now her son wants to court me, so I told him I don't want her as my mother-in-law. I grew up with my childhood friend who we'll call John. John left for the army when he was 18, but despite that, we stayed in touch, and I even visited him once or twice where he was posted. I used to love John's mother, who we'll call Amy, when I was younger, but when I was 15, I overheard her saying some mean things about me and my siblings behind our backs to John, who she knew I liked at the time. She said some nasty things like I might become a hoe because my birth mother was one of my father's, told her I don't clean myself, so I might have STDs. This isn't true because my father often complained to her that I showered too frequently. I like feeling clean and always have. Since overhearing these things, I couldn't really bring myself to remain as close to her as I was. A few weeks ago John came for a visit and his mother Amy invited my family as well as a few other friends over for dinner. I was pretty excited to see him since I hadn't seen him in over a year. During the visit, I needed to take a breather, so I stepped outside to get some fresh air and calm my nerves. John joined me after a while, which was perfectly fine since it allowed me to talk to him one-on-one finally. We mainly just caught up with each other and talked about random things until he asked if he could court me. It took me quite some time to reply, but I eventually told him that I didn't want to have his mother as my mother-in-law, and I didn't want to ruin his relationship with his mother, especially since they were so close. John seemed very disappointed, but he just said okay and changed the subject. I thought that was the end of that, but apparently, he told Amy that he was going to ask me out beforehand, and after my family left, she asked how it had gone. John, of course, answered truthfully and told her I said no, but had also told her what I had said as to why I wouldn't let him court me, and the next morning I woke up to a bunch of mean voicemails and texts from her and a few mutual friends, calling me in a hole for refusing to court John because I didn't want Amy as my mother-in-law and that I was biatch for not liking Amy even though she's been nothing but kind to me, and so on and so forth. I haven't responded to any of the calls and messages, and frankly I don't know how. I didn't wish to upset anyone, but I do feel my reasons as valid. Update: my family is religious and a bit old-fashioned, I suppose. My parents always told me growing up that dating was more casual and isn't always done with the intention of marriage, while courting was more formal and with the intention of marriage in the long run. John grew up the same way, so to us he was asking if he could get to know me as a potential spouse. I didn't tell anyone but my father what I overheard Amy saying about me, as at the time, I didn't want to start problems and ruin relationships. My father did understand why I didn't want to be as close to Amy anymore and never forced the relationship. I might consider changing my mind if I wasn't expected to have a relationship with Amy and more than seeing her every once in a while at family gatherings, as long as I wasn't expected to speak with her. I did send the screenshots of the messages I was getting to John. He called me and apologized, saying that he never intended for his mother to react that way and only told what I had said because he was angry and upset. He did say he wasn't angry at me as he understood my point of view. I also told him what I overheard, and he didn't deny it. He also told me she often said mean things about others and that she would say nasty things about him and his siblings to others. I figured she said nasty things about others too, but not her own kids. John told me he'd speak with his mother and would also like if we could all sit down and have a talk. I told him I'd think about it. I also sent the screenshots to the other friends who were sending me nasty messages, and most of them have been very quiet since then. My dad is also appalled by their behavior and hasn't spoken much to any of them. The same goes for my siblings and friends on my side.